Hello and welcome to part 3 of the New Moon and Capricorn ritual that we're doing January 18th of 2026. This part of the series is going to be focused on once the ritual is done, we have ingredients and herbs and spirits. What do we do with them? We have the salt ring, the ring of flower petals. We're also going to have the water in the bowl. We have the candle container and we have the extra oil. So what now? First things first, if you're new here, always personal discernment. We talk about that in the previous videos, like heavy. So the order that you do this in is going to be kind of up to you. One of the things that we're going to do once the candle is done burning is we're going to take that candle. It's a 7-day ritual candle. White is what we're using this time. And we're going to wash it out, clean it out, clear it out. We're going to get the extra wax out of there. The little like wick holder, we're going to take that out too. And that way it's a clear jar at that point. You may, depending upon how many flower petals and how much salt you use, you may need another container. Okay, so just kind of a heads up if you have an extra jar that's laying around. Because what we're going to do is we're going to take both the salt and the flower petals that are around the bowl and we're going to be putting them inside of the candle container. So if you have too much and it does not fit, find another container and put it inside of that. Or you could, if you wanted to, return the extra to the earth, you could do that as well. Because then the water also is going to need to be, I don't want to say disposed of because it's not trash, you know what I mean? But it is going to need to be returned either to the earth. You could give it to your plants if you wanted to. So take your time to discern, where you want the water to go. What do you want the water to feed? What do you want it to be included in? And then I mentioned in the first video, kind of in the second one too, but definitely in the first one when we're talking about the ingredients and what the ritual is going to pertain to and include. I talk about having extra oil of the oil of your choice for the ritual. Now, the reason for this is because now that the ritual is done, the candles burned down, we've cleaned out the jar. We're going to be putting into that jar, again, the salt and the flowers. And we're going to be filling it up so that the flowers and the salt are covered in oil. Now, the flowers and the salt are now imbued with the order of the ritual that we have just done, activating the rings of Saturn, activating all of the order stuff that we talk about in video 2. Again, sit down and have a conversation with yourself and with the highest spirit, the spirits on your team, about what it is you feel like doing for this part of the ritual, the ending. We're also going to need, and I didn't mention this because I didn't think about it yet. I wasn't thinking about the end of the ritual. In the first video, I was thinking about the beginning and the middle of the ritual, but we are going to need something to cover that jar with. The candle holder, that is, because 7-day candles don't traditionally come with a cover. You could use saran wrap, you could use tin foil, do what you feel like is going to be the best fit. If you live in an environment where keeping that open makes sense, you could do that as well. Now, this oil that we're creating, we are probably going to let it sit for a while. We've just done this whole ritual to activate the power of structured authority. We're going to be sitting with this oil in the future, and we kind of want to let it rest and digest. We want to let this oil kind of soak up, the magic that was imbued into the ritual, the things that were done during the ritual before we really step into using it. Now, we are going to be participating with this ritual oil, the anointing oil, when it comes to the next new moon in Capricorn in 2027. We're going to anoint another ritual with that power structure, and we may also end up using this oil for other works that have yet to be determined. Sometimes the coven work has worked like that, where spirit will bring me something and be like, well, you could pick it up if you want to. So we may have things like that throughout the year. We also have another eclipse season coming up in August, so we may be using it then as well. We have more to discern, but we're not quite there yet. Okay, so thank you for your patience. One thing at a time, right? Especially with how detailed this work is from the get-go. So now the other thing to keep in mind too is if you have the extra flower petals and you have the extra salt, like if it's too much to fit inside of that container of a candle and you have an extra jar, make sure that you have enough oil to cover everything in there. You want to make sure that everything is submerged so that mold doesn't grow, things are not going to get like icky yucky. So just become prepared for that part of the ritual as well. If you don't have enough oil for that purpose, again, taking those ingredients and giving them back to the earth. You also too are going to want to wash that bowl that we use in the ritual. You can do it at the same time that we're washing the candle. Again, the steps of the ritual, how you do them, why you do them in that order is kind of up to you. Sometimes you don't have to sit down and think about it. If you want it to be a little chaotic, I feel like I need to do this first. I feel like I don't know how to explain why I feel like I need to do that first, but I feel like that's what I need to do. If you trust that, you trust you, and you trust then that's what you need to do. Then okay. It doesn't always need to be like premeditated or like ordered before you sit down in it. So there's that to think about. Let's also talk about what happens during that 7-day candle burning. From the time that we start the ritual, light the candle, and then we let it set. Okay, so for 7 days, it's going to burn. During those 7 days, there are going to be things that happen more than likely that have to do with the ritual that we just did. Activating and anointing the power of structured authority. Again, you could make this very specific to structured authority that you're building and working in your life. And or you could leave it open to undiscovered ideas that you're undiscovered to, things that you're going to figure out along the way. Capricorn also has to do with our place in the world. So if you're looking for, building more of that, maintaining what you have, there's a lot of ways to think of it. Always remember that there's always sacrifice required when we do magic work and when we ask for things. So just making sure that you feel like with what you're working with on a personal level, even though this is a coven work, you're still going to have to make your personal sacrifices and payments to the spirit. So if you feel comfortable with that, then by all means, that's what the work is going to be about. So during those 7 days while the candle burns down, there's going to be things that happen pertaining to what it is that you were working with within that ritual aspect, either leaving it open, asking for specifics, or a combination of both. Pay attention to the order that they happen in. We've been talking about order a lot for this, so pay attention to the order that they happen in. I find that it is useful to keep a list. This was happening, and this felt important, so I'm going to write it down. Someone was talking about this to me, and that felt important, so I'm going to write that down. Keep a list of the things that happen over those 7 days. It could be dreams, it could be patterns. There's so many different things that could come up once the ritual starts. That becomes kind of like a roadmap. That way, when you go into the future and you're using that oil, those themes are going to come up in a specific order. This ritual is also going to help us process. It's the activation of and the anointment and activation of the power of structured authority. So once we get into 2027 and then we start to get into the eclipses of Capricorn turning and this work starts to ground in the eclipse energy, that roadmap is going to help keep you on track with the ritual so that you're not lost in the middle of the things that could cross in your magical world. So I always recommend when working with any 7-day, 3-day, however many day candles to keep kind of a record of the things that happen, when they happen, how they happen, what felt important about it, even if you can't explain it yet. It's kind of like a prophecy getting set up for that work to come into fruition. It's a good tip and trick for any 7-day candle and applicable for this ritual as well. There could also be, because we're doing another work with the new moon in Capricorn 2027, and so there's 2 different new moons we're working with this, there could be information about the next work that comes in during this one. So if you feel like there are sort of more like premonition things that come up, make sure that those are recorded somehow. It doesn't need to be written down, even if you just record it in your brain, It depends on how secret you want it to be, so that's completely up to you. The other thing about this is that when we do this ritual specifically, both Saturn and Neptune, they're both still going to be in Pisces. And the North Node will be in Pisces as well. So there will be a lot of very detailed premonition, prophecy, order, structure things that are happening. So even like the smallest details during this could become like a really, really big important thing later on. So please discern on a personal level what you feel like is important for you. And then after that, after you've cleaned everything up, you've put the oil together, probably stand with the oil for a second and give gratitude back to the spirits who, again, you were helping you during the ritual. Gratitude, reverence, and love to you, the highest spirit, to the indigenous spirits of the land where I sit, talk, walk, and stand, where you're walking and doing this work also, and where the coven is processing this work in the highest elevation. Gorgeous, beautiful, love that. Gratitude, reverence, and love to the goddess, to the god, to the highest mother, to the highest father, to the all mother, to the all father, to the mothers and the fathers who are of the highest elevation, worded, encompassing, love, truth, free, honor, glory, elevation, gratitude, reverence, justice, magic, spirit, liberation, free, and love. And gratitude, reverence, and love to the spirits and the ancestors who are of the highest elevation, worded, encompassing, love, truth, free, honor, glory, elevation, gratitude, reverence, justice, magic, spirit, liberation, free, and love. Okay. And gratitude, reverence, and love to the oil, the flowers, the salt, the bowl, the water, the candle, the fire, the earth, the air, all of it, right? Okay. Gratitude, reverence, and love to life and death, to power and the will. You could give gratitude, reverence, and love for like a long time. All right. Clearly. But giving gratitude, reverence, and love back to the spirits once the oil is like jarred, you have it set, and then find a comfy place for that oil to rest for a while until we start to activate it again. And gratitude, reverence, and love to you. Keep up the brew you do. I will too. If you plan on working with us with this, the Coven Discord, again, if you watched all 3 parts, beautiful, you know where this is. If not, I'm going to say it again. It's up on the website under Coven Discord if you want to come join us and ask other practitioners questions about how they're going to be doing their work, what it looks like, anything pertaining to this and or other magical related things. we have a lot to do. You know what? And I'm excited to brew with you. So thanks for coming through if you do. And I look forward to it. I'm really excited. So I'll see you there. Also true.